So, have you seen all the hysteria over Trump's crime of the day, Liberia Gate? I have so much to say about it, but first take a look at this.
Here he was today in a meeting with the president of Liberia.
Thank you, and such good English, such beautiful. Where did you learn to speak so beautifully? Where were you educated? Where?
Yes, sir.
In Liberia.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's very interesting. It's beautiful English.
Sure.
I have people at this table can't speak nearly as well.
All very interesting. I mean, Donald Trump was so impressed by the Liberian president's English, I guess nobody told him that the official language of Liberia is, in fact, English. But that is what you get when our nation's diplomat-in-chief has no idea what he's doing.
It's not wrong that English is the official language of Liberia. But what does that mean, official language? It just means it's the language of government. That's all. But English isn't the first language for most people. Most Liberians speak one of the indigenous languages of Liberia, being, and pardon me if I pronounce these wrong, Kapele, Bassa, or Vai as their first language, with Kapele being the most widely spoken. English is often used as a second language in formal settings only. Most Liberians are taught English as a second language in school, a bit like how we had to learn French here in the UK, but that certainly doesn't make them fluent. In fact, only 20 to 30% of the population is classed as fluent in English. I suppose that's a bit like how in my birthplace, Hong Kong, while it was under British rule, English was the language of government, you know, the official language, but Hong Kongers all spoke Cantonese. Amongst themselves, they didn't have to speak English, they spoke Cantonese. But unless you went to a really good school, most of the working class didn't speak any English. They might have known a few words, but that was about it. So the question about what was your education, where did you go to school, is actually quite relevant in this case. Of course it was a little awkward, because this man obviously went to a good school, being in the position that he's in. But Trump was raised, like many boomers, to start a conversation, any conversation with somebody you've just met, with a compliment. And sure, it may have backfired in a lot of people's eyes, but I still remember vividly when I was learning English as a second language at the age of 7, when I first moved to the UK. I mean, okay, it's a long story. I came here first when I was 3, but then we traveled all around the world and I had to learn a load of other languages before I came back here at 7, unable to speak English, and I had to learn it again from scratch. And if ever anyone complimented me and told me I spoke good English, I was so happy. To be told I was doing well was very encouraging. I would be like, no, I don't think so. Really? No. Oh, thank you. And it gave me the motivation to keep trying. And I actually became fluent really fast. But it's the same when we Westerners go to China, right? All you have to say is ni hao, and they'll be like, whoa, your Chinese is so good. They can't believe you can speak a single word, and it brings so much joy and you get so much attention, right? And don't mean me because I look Chinese. Well, actually, when I'm in Asia, they don't think I look Chinese. They can tell. They can tell that I'm a banana, yellow on the outside, white on the inside, or a chuk sing. That's a bamboo. That's another expression they have for us. We appear Chinese on the outside like a bamboo, but we're hollow on the inside, empty. There's nothing there. There's no Chinese inside us. But the funny thing is, now that I'm getting older, I'm 52 now, right? And for most of my life, for like at least 4 decades, I would say to people when they tried to speak to me in Cantonese, my mother tongue, 我識聽唔識講, which means I can understand but I can't speak it. But this is like a limitation we set on ourselves because of a fear of speaking, because we would make mistakes and it'll be embarrassing, and so you just end up not speaking, not even trying. And this happens to most of us bananas who grow up in the West. So I've been actively trying to relearn my mother tongue now that I'm old, and it's been so rewarding. And so now, it's the highest compliment to me if a fellow Chinese person tells me I speak good Cantonese. I'm like, hey man, 你真係覺得我講得好啊? Really? You really think I can speak well? It's usually meant as a compliment when someone tells me I speak this language or that language well, and I certainly always take it as a compliment. And one thing that made me laugh was when he said that there are people in his own team that don't speak as well as that, because it's so true, right? Like I notice here in London, a lot of English people can't speak English properly. Do you know what I mean? Like when I first came back here in '99 after living in Canada, I remember getting on a train and the announcement was like, because they had humans doing the announcements in those days and you could actually see the person doing it. And he was like, this is the East London Line train calling at all stations Shadwell, please mind the closing doors. And I was like, what's that, English? Do you know what I mean? And he was a white dude. And there have been many times I was at work and I'd have to just be honest and say, I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I didn't understand what you just said. Because their accents were so heavy. I'm talking white British people's regional British accents. And occasionally, when I do encounter a young British person who speaks the Queen's English, I do want to ask them where they were educated. Ironically, the people who speak the best English these days are Indians. I'm not talking like fresh off the boat, I mean like the ones who were well educated, like Shil Pashetti. Do you guys remember Shil Pashetti? Oh, beautiful, like so dignified and so refined. Do you know what I mean though? Like a posh Indian accent is like the most beautiful. Like when they speak perfect English, but it's got like a hint of Indian, it's like music to your ears, isn't it? But it's also, it's not just, I would extend that to other groups as well, like posh Nigerian English or posh Chinese English even. And my theory on that is that when it's your second language, you learn to enunciate so perfectly. It's like when I speak French. People often tell me I sound very Parisian when I speak French.
Lorsque j'avais 6 ans, j'ai vu une fois une image magnifique dans un livre sur la forêt vierge qui s'appelait Histoire vécue. Ça représentait un boa qui avalait un éléphant. How's that? It's all right?